Okay, so yesterday we had this massive event which went down, the Caddis, the Doggus, basically the robot versus the sea or polar peak monster, whatever you guys like to call it. That went down, and it was pretty sick. So along with this event, of course, it brought some new stuff to Fortnite. So if you do have a myth you would like me to test, hopefully it includes some new stuff, some unique ideas that we could get in here. Make sure to go down in the comments down below right now and drop a quick comment of a unique myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. With all of the hype for season 10, let's set a like goal on today's video of 30,000 likes. I haven't set a like goal of this high in quite a while, so if we do hit this, I'd be extremely happy. Also, we hit 400k yesterday, which is insane, and I want to give a massive thank you. I never ever thought I would see that number in front of my name, and I guess a lot of you weirdos want to see my face. So at 500k, I'll be doing a face reveal, so if you do enjoy today's video, feel free to subscribe, turn on post notifications, and let's begin. Jumping straight into the first myth. The first myth is, if you throw an airstrike at Kevin the Cube, do the rockets bounce off the cube similar to an RPG rocket if you were to shoot it at Kevin? So a couple episodes ago, we actually found out that if you shoot an RPG, like a rocket from an RPG, it'll actually bounce off of Kevin the Cube, and you could do some pretty cool stuff with this. Now, every episode since, this comment has actually been the most liked comment, I should say. It's easily gone over 1,000 likes, so I guess I just really had to test it out for you guys. In game, obviously, I did a little technique to get the airstrike as well, put it in an item spawner so I could get just about unlimited of them, and I built a platform over Kevin the Cube. That way I could throw the airstrike and it won't bounce pretty far. After throwing down the airstrike, I then destroyed the platform in which I threw the airstrike down, obviously. That way the rockets could kind of hit the cube instead of the actual platform, and every single rocket, sadly, none of them bounced back up, and they just exploded on impact as if it was the ground. Going into the next myth is, are you able to survive an airstrike while inside of a cannon or while you're even driving a vehicle of any sorts? Now, I think it's safe to say that the airstrike, it's used in PvP quite a bit. I mean, mainly to third party and destroy entire builds and just try and get a pick or two, but still, it's used quite a bit. So people are wondering maybe if you hop into the barrel of a cannon or even into like a quad crusher or even a baller, will that save you from getting killed from these airstrikes and basically make you immune? Now, when I tested this out in game, I had the airstrikes and I threw them down on every single vehicle, but sadly, no matter what vehicle you are in, it'll still damage you, it'll still damage the vehicle, and if enough of them hit you, of course, you'll end up dying. But that has an extent to the baller. If the baller gets hit a couple times, you could last all the way up till the 150 HP the baller actually has, because of course, if you shoot it, it'll save you, so that includes with the rockets as well. And you could live a little bit longer than if you were on a quad crusher or even a cannon. Going into the next myth is, since ballers can now heal from a campfire, do any other vehicles heal from campfires as well? Now, if you don't read the patch notes or you just really aren't up to date on Fortnite, now I guess vehicles and ballers are now able to heal in game from a campfire, but that's kind of to an extent. In creative mode, I tested this out with a regular campfire you could pick up and place down anywhere from your inventory, and sadly, none of those ever worked. I don't know if it had to do with a setting in creative mode or whatever, but in game, at these the regular campfires you will find around the map that you can't pick up and you could just ignite, and that's basically the lifespan of them. You could actually heal any vehicle from any type of the campfires right there. This is very good to know in game, because say you have a baller that maybe lost a little bit of HP because some jerk wanted to shoot it while you're kind of going by, or even your quad crusher, you could get its health back from one of these campfires and just be set right on your way perfectly fine. Overall though, this is definitely something very good to know if you do play a lot of arenas or if you have the baller a lot, because we all know that when the baller gets to pretty low HP, you'll just end up ditching it because the noise sucks and it's just really sketchy. Going into the next myth is, will an airstrike rocket damage you while you are a prop? Now, I know I keep doing all of these prop hunt myths, and a lot of you guys, you don't even play prop hunt, but I mean, these comments are still getting a ton of likes, so I just can't ignore them just because I personally don't play the game mode. Overall though, when I did test this myth out in game, you would be surprised by the outcome. Say you are hiding as a prop and this map has airstrikes on the ground that the seekers could pick up and maybe do damage to some of the props. Luckily, the airstrikes, they will have no effect on you if you are any prop of any kind from what we tested. My friend who was on the enemy team, he threw down the airstrike, which was literally right on top of me as the prop, and rockets hit me directly, and none of them ever did any damage. And then I got up, I ran over to him, and he pickaxed me once to see that he could do damage to me. And that basically shows that the airstrikes, they don't do anything to you while you are a prop. Going into the next myth is, in creative, if you go into the phase mode, since you could go through walls and structures, will bullets or even rockets go through you, or will they impact you? Now sadly, knowing this myth, I don't really see much of a game competitive advantage, but I guess it's something cool to know for if you do ever play creative mode with some friends and maybe they are trolling you with rockets and you're just getting pretty annoyed about it. Surprisingly, in creative mode, if you do go into the phase mode where you could go through walls and structures, it might be annoying if you are trying to build with you constantly going through the walls and such, but if that one friend is just shooting rockets at you and boogie bombs and stuff, it'll go directly straight through you, and they can't really mess with you that way anymore. This was actually pretty cool and honestly something I really did not know. Going into the next myth is, what happens when two porta forts are thrown in the exact same square tile at the exact same time? Now I thought this was actually a pretty interesting myth because obviously regular porta forts, not the porta fortress, just a regular porta fort, it'll take up just about one square tile at the base and then it'll slowly expand kind of like a funnel all the way up towards the top. So with the base only being just about one tile big, this makes it so the porta fort, no matter where you throw it on the tile, as long as it's on the tile, the structure will build up in the exact same place as any other porta forts which may be thrown right there as well. When I tried this out in game, me and my friend, we threw it at just about the exact same time, and no matter what, if you're at the exact same time or not, the porta fort, it will basically build up, and then the second one or any porta fort thrown in the same place right after that, it'll kind of rebuild itself and destroy the previous one in its path. I guess this is good to know maybe if you're in game and your porta fort's being destroyed and maybe you need to rebuild like the corner of it or even the base extremely fast and you don't have the materials, you could just throw another one down and it'll be good as new. Of course, it will be kind of rebuilding itself as well though. Going into the next myth is, if you transform into the diving board prop or even the bouncy tires prop, if someone jumps on top of you, will they automatically bounce like in a regular game? Now just about a couple episodes ago, we actually tested out a very similar myth, and that is basically if you could bounce on the bouncy tires, and sadly back then you are unable to. You kind of jump on the bouncy tires and your player basically floats above them, and whenever you run around, the player will get moved with the bouncy tires and just really no bouncing at all. It's just kind of like an invisible barrier. In game, when testing this out, I was expecting something very similar to the bouncy tires, but I was surprised that you could actually jump on top of the diving board, and it's just like a regular platform, but unfortunately you are unable to bounce. And whenever the diving board does move around, the character will be pulled along with it no matter what. If they jump, if they turn, no matter what you do, the player will basically be pulled with them. Overall though, I guess they got the hitboxes a little bit better with the diving board rather than the bouncy tires, probably because they thought the bouncy tires wouldn't be used in prop hunt, since you really have to use a porta fort to get them in creative mode. Going into the next myth is, what happens when a supply drop lands on top of Loot Lake's orb from the event? Yesterday, if you didn't already see the massive event which went down, which was basically the massive sea monster or the polar peak monster versus the massive robot which was being built in pressure plant, a lot of stuff went down and I made an entire video on it. If you do want to see that, it'll be in the description below. During that event, the massive robot basically stuck his hand into the vault and pulled out this massive ball which is currently in the middle of Loot Lake, and it's said to be going around the entire map or something crazy like that. But I was testing all day to somehow get a supply drop to land on top of it. Now for literally 7 hours straight, I was sitting in Team Rumble matches, and no matter what, even if the zone literally closed around Loot Lake's hole, the hole in Loot Lake, no supply drop would ever land there. So I think there's some sort of barrier that Fortnite put up, not allowing anything to really be built or supply drops to land in that area. I honestly do not think that it's just because I'm unlucky. I mean, there were literally tons and tons of supply drops in every single game, And I don't think it's just a coincidence that none of them didn't land in this hole. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you are new to the channel. Go down in the comments down below right now and drop a comment of a unique myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. Also, if you guys haven't already, join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I'm getting a lot more active on all my socials and such. So if you guys support me on here, feel free to support me over there, and I will see you guys next time.